welcome to the Left Brain, Right Brain podcast, John.
Thank you for having me.
It's an honor. I didn't know if you were going to be on the treadmill, but I appreciate that you took time off your busy day to sit down with me for a little bit.
Well, that was not part of we didn't agree to
We
that.
didn't agree to that.
Hello, caller. Welcome. Let's pay cook exercise and heart transplant surgery.
Yeah, an
Um,
hour, that'd be a long time.
I'm loving
Yeah.
your studio as well. Thank you for putting in the
Oh,
time to, yeah, that's fantastic.
yeah. Thank you.
So I wanted to ask you, I've done a bit of a deep dive, and that's looking
Yes.
at a few Wikipedia articles and whatnot. Um,
Yeah.
you have a Master of Fine Arts, don't you? And a Bachelor.
Yes.
How do you feel
I, I
when
do.
you started off? When
I'm a
did
master.
yeah, you're a master now. When did you get that Master of Fine Arts? What year?
2008.
2008. True.
Yeah.
And do you find that what you learned when you studied that Master of Arts, is it still applicable to what you do now?
I mean, yes and no. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, because
I mean,
I find that what you do now, it's like, I mean, you were already doing it on public access television, right? By that point.
right. Yeah, that's true. I mean that the Masters. That's kind of a strange thing to talk about because it is kind of because what I'm doing, yeah, it's not even really necessarily fine art or that kind of stuff, and though it is,
It is.
or it can be, it can be.
Yeah, because if you were doing a master's, what would you have done like, did you do research papers on any particular artist that you admired or?
Well, I was fortunate to go to a a school where they allowed you to do really anything you
Really?
wanted to do, and so there was no browbeating or uh, enforcement of any kind of agenda on the educational process of getting
Right.
this. So I didn't do anything except for um, make work.
Cool.
And I was told by another classmate, she said it's think of it more as a residency.
That's cool. That's a good way to look at
And
it, actually.
well, and again, the school UCLA happened. I don't know how it is today, but that's how they were approaching it. And so, if you wanted to operate if you wanted to, get really a deep dive into the whatever art is, whatever it's supposed to be, and write
Yeah.
paper, yeah, you could do that. You're more than welcome to. And there were professors to help encourage you to do so. But on the other side, there was also professors, artists, fellow artists, who let you, also do whatever you want.
Yeah, I asked
This is what I that's what I did.
because I'm from Melbourne. I'm from Argentina, but I live in Melbourne, Australia. I actually saw you, and I want to talk about that later when you were performing here.
Oh,
All right.
What did he say?
4.2 miles an hour here. All right. Is my turn, Bernard?
Yes.
Okay, let's go here.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. Of
basically
course.
the art education program that I experienced, I dropped out of my Bachelor of Fine Arts because
Oh,
it was
good deal.
very the opposite of what you're talking about. Very
Yeah,
strict,
yeah,
very
yeah.
formal. Yeah, I
Is
failed.
that there in Australia?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I failed an abstraction assignment. I was talking to a comedian today before this, and I failed an abstraction assignment. It was like a Jackson Pollock type of thing. And
Yeah.
the moment that I got like an F for that, I asked the teacher, I said, "Well, there's no way that I can pass this class now." And she goes, "Probably not." And I'm like, "But I believe in what I do. I believe in what I'm
Yeah.
trying to do here." And she said, "Well, better luck next time." So I dropped out.
Oh. Well, yeah. I mean, the only way I got to, went through the art school well, just school in general is just you just stick with it. It's
Yeah.
and that's what I always did. So, but I was fortunate enough to, at least I think I was, not to be, uh, requested or asked to do a bunch of stuff like that. Actually, as an undergrad, they do ask you to write a paper and stuff, but
Yeah, yeah. With
um,
masters, you can kind of get away with a lot. Even
maybe so, maybe
th
so.
this podcast actually is a result of my masters of media because,
Okay.
yeah, we were basically, they asked me, they're like, what do you want to do? I'd been out of study for like 2 years, and they said you can make a music video, you can make this, that, you can do a podcast. And I asked them, does that mean I get to use all of your resources for free? And they said yes. And I said, okay. So it was really good actually. Um, but now, yeah, now I do it outside of uni. But it was also just because of the university, the masters. So you can, yeah, specialize, tweak it however you want.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Um,
And just to follow up the I think the premise was or is that there, when you get out of art school, no one's going to be holding your hand.
yep.
And so I thought an important thing to think about because, if you are being asked to do all this stuff and then you get your degree, but then you're out and then you're on your own. So you might as well be on your own in the
For
the
sure.
school
For
aspect
sure.
of, well, anyway, that's it. But again, that's just how I did it.
No, I mean, a lot of my friends as well, like, they finished up what they were studying and now they're working in completely different jobs that they don't want to
Oh,
work
well,
in.
of course,
That's
of course.
the classic conundrum.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
the important thing in those times is to continue to study, continue to look at other artists you admire and, keep making
Yeah, I
art,
mean,
right? Like,
it's a personal journey, whatever floats your boat, whatever gets you going. And and also it's how you going to make a living?
yeah, that's the tough one.
Uh,
I still haven't figured that out
what kind
myself.
of yeah job route? That's
Yeah, that's a whole nother
and
discussion.
and in the creative field, it's kind of difficult, but but there's also plenty of opportunity at the same time. But
For sure,
the,
you just have to know how to look for it, and you need to know like how to network. I think networking is
maybe
something
so.
really very
Yeah, it
important.
doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt. I
No.
I don't do enough of it, frankly, or I resigned from doing it a lot because it just seems uh you feel really uncomfortable and stuff, and stuff.
But I feel
So
like from what I've seen as well, like you've done networking quite organically a lot. Like I just, this
yeah,
is just me supposing, like when you have like done
sure,
paintings of Zach Galifianakis or,
yeah,
Eric Andre and stuff like that. Like that wouldn't have
right.
been like a forced thing. I feel like your art and their art it just makes sense.
Jumping around is fun. Yeah. For me. Yeah. It's not for everyone, but you gotta stretch. We stretch and get used to the whole formalities.
Well, I force stuff. I also at times because I'm thinking, uh, well, I have done that as a painter, if you will,
Yeah.
to make money. So I will. I can, I've been over the years been able to generate income from making, a series of stuff, and then I seem to be able to, make a sale from it.
Yeah.
Um, so you do kind of have to put yourself out there at times, obviously. But rejection, that's just the nature of the beast, and that's it's just nonstop, really.
It is, right? There's no
I'm
point
I'm
in
kind
life
of
where
used to it.
rejection like just stops being a thing.
Yeah, I'm kind of used to it to some degree, but it's also hard to take sometimes. And then that's why it's easy to not there's a cat I hear a cat.
If you want to bring the cat on the stream.
I don't know what's going on with the cat.
We
I
always
it's
have dogs coming on the stream with us for some reason.
Well,
So,
I don't know if it's outdoors. Well, I
do you
don't know.
have a cat?
Give me, yeah, I got some cats. It's
Yeah,
just I
bring
don't
it
know.
out. If you go on, bring it out. Let's see
I
it.
don't think it's coming out, or I'm not bringing it out. Listen, it feels like it's outside, but I don't see it. So
Well,
it
you
must
can
be. It
you
feels
can
like it's
hear
yeah,
you
it's
can hear
outside, and
you can hear the
I don't
cat.
know. Yeah, but I think the cat's in heat is the deal. So
Cat's in heat. Yeah, there's nothing we can do about
yeah,
it.
but
That's the classic
well, we
conundrum.
got to get her fixed. So
Yeah. Have you always lived in LA?
well, I mean, I grew up in Oakland, it's San Francisco Bay Area,
Yeah.
California. But yeah, I've been in LA most of my life. Yeah.
And before being a painter, what kind of jobs did you do?
Bicycle, newspaper bicycle.
So it's all connected. The origin of Mr. Let's Paint
Yeah.
with the very first job that Mr.
I
Paint had.
actually, yeah, like my first job, I guess my first job was like delivering newspapers, on a bicycle as a kid.
Yeah.
And then, and then I ended up, as I got a little older, I ended up delivering drugs.
What? What? As a formal job?
Yeah,
What are you
I
talking
was
about?
delivering drugs on a bicycle.
Right, for
And
who?
Look at that tree. Look at that tree. Look at a tree baby up there. Oh yeah. Oh. Ooh. Yeah, the nose. Get that.
for a pharmacy.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was. That was my.
For us, yeah, but they at the time, looking back, it was interesting that they, you know, this cat is going crazy. It's really kind of annoying. Um,
I wish I could help you, man.
yeah, I can't help myself. What does that mean? Anyway, but I don't know why they looking back on it, they trusted us, because they had medication in here
Yeah.
in our bags to deliver. It was kind of sad job in a way because you would deliver to shut-ins and stuff,
Oh yeah.
and or retirement homes and it was, the conditions were not the best. It was just kind of eye-opening. But yeah, I was like, no, I didn't have really, many, just a lot of silly jobs like that, little part-time jobs.
And do you feel
Not
like those jobs have like, because I guess what you do now is I would consider you like a modern Renaissance man. You know what I mean? You're a
okay.
man of many things, and you do them all at once, which I've never seen anyone do before. But
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess, I mean, it's kind of half-hearted and uh, by the seat of your pants in a sense. But I don't know. Yeah, I like doing it though. I think I kind of just stumbled upon it. Well, it's from the cable access days doing that kind
yeah,
of work. And I think I've always was aware of, you're doing entertaining for entertainment purposes. And I'm aware of, uh, you know, lack of attention span, all that stuff. I guess I'm part of the TV generation and I need things. I think
that's so interesting that it's like, yeah, like because you say TV generation, but then when my generation experiences, we think it's like a Gen Z thing. It's like, oh, well,
yeah.
they just don't have a short attention span now, but you're saying it goes way back. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like,
I grew up. I mean, I think I'm kind of more. I'm from the sort of the '70s and into the '80s. So kind of that's sort of the beginning of that kind of generation of TV generation. And in a sense, I mean, I guess it obviously goes back further. But there was always warnings. People are watching too much TV, and in fact, my parents they took the TV away for a number of years as
really?
a kid. Yeah, so we didn't even have a TV, which was actually pretty good. Actually, it was a pretty good move
It's not
in a
bad,
sense.
hey.
That was radical, though. That was a radical move. Not many people pulled that, did that. But
Yeah, and so maybe the fact that you didn't get to have that TV when you wanted it means that now you just want everything all at once, right?
it's well, I guess no.
I don't mean to
Kid,
psychoanalyze you here.
kid in a candy store. Yeah, yeah.
Do you also have a background in comedy from like the Groundlings Theater as well?
I mean, I took a class there.
Oh yeah.
I took the one class, and I failed
How
the
do you
class.
fail? How do you fail that?
Well, I wasn't very good at it.
That's crazy.
Well, the instructor said that I wasn't good at really listening. In improv is about listening and being able to bounce off each other and go, continue on with whatever story is going on. And I kind of tended to not listen enough, and I just sort of went on my own world.
Yeah, which is like a different kind of artist though, Not everyone's made
Yeah,
to listen to
yeah,
other
yeah,
people.
yeah. And well, anyway, but for some reason, I'm still on their Wikipedia page as
Yeah,
a
that's crazy. They
longtime.
would take that credit and be like, "Yep,
Yeah. Well, anyway, one day they'll take me off the Wikipedia page,
don't
but
worry, I'll help you. I'll find a way to get it off there."
no, no, keep it on there. It's kind of fun.
Okay, okay.
I like talking about how they keep me there. I don't know.
Do you find that
Probably
you have other
it's
people
probably not there now. I haven't looked.
in like I guess it's hard to speak about your like contemporaries because it just depends on what field you're choosing to
Yeah.
talk about, right? Do you have any multimedia contemporaries in that sense? Like, do you have other people who do similar all around things, like painting and like this and
No,
that? Like, no, there's no one.
no.
No,
I mean, not that I can think of. I mean,
no, I can't think of
because
anyone else. Like,
in the art world, no one it's not it's kind of looked upon as being naive, and it's not really thought of as being an artistic endeavor, and no one really seeks this out.
do you
If
feel?
anything, it's more of a entertainment angle.
But that's not
Because
the
really,
only angle that you're coming at it from. You are coming at it from a
no,
genuine angle as well.
yes, of course,
Of
of
course.
course. I'm coming from my own angle.
Something like
But you
dataism
don't,
as well,
huh?
like dataism or Marcel
Oh,
Duchamp.
Dada
Yeah,
or Data?
dataism, all
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. Like that was sincere art, It was just coming from its own lens basically as well. Like it
yeah,
had its own place. It's weird that the
yeah.
modern times with everything that's going on, like that we're somehow getting more closed-minded.
Get the essence here of Zach.
Who was the guy, what was his name?
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross.
Yes.
He probably is the best known painting, Joe. You've taken the Bob Ross format and added jogging.
Yeah, yeah, and some cooking too, by the way.
And we're just like, oh, that's not art when it like totally is.
Well, it's just the nature of everything. It's always that. It's not like it's anything new in that
No.
regard. That's always been the case. This um, kind of strange classification of things. I mean,
Yeah, we
people
want
have
to
been doing that
understand
forever.
things, don't we? We want to make sure that we like
Well, yeah,
put things into
we want to be
boxes.
able to put labels on people.
Yeah, and for a lot of people to sell things too, and if
Well,
something's like
it helps in the selling for sure.
for
It,
sure,
it,
but you're your own, like salesman,
well,
so it's like
look,
you can stay true.
I'm not extremely successful from doing this, but I get by, and
But in terms of your influence, like I found out about you through my friend Jamie, and I asked Jamie. Jamie didn't really give me any questions to shout out to Jamie, but
yeah.
she's like a huge fan of yours, and so the
All
fact that
right.
you made it all the way to Australia, I mean,
Yeah,
you came here. I was just on a date, and I stumbled, and
you
then you were
stumbled upon.
there in like I don't know, it was like near Chinatown, and you were just doing your thing there, and I was like, where
Yeah,
have I seen you before?
yeah,
Like.
yeah, yeah.
What was the process for even getting here? How did that happen?
Well, they contact you, just out of the blue. You get an email.
Really? And they were just like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, come down and just do your thing here. We'll set
yeah.
you up."
We want to they envisioned, they kind of knew obviously they knew who I was, and I don't quite know how they came, just figured out who I was or whatever, but they were like, let's get him out and have him do his show and do his thing here.
Did you find that interacting with people from Australia was quite different to interacting from people from America?
Not really, no.
Same deal?
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
I would just say that um uh I think artists or people that are interested in the arts are kind of a universal thing, and so it's not any particular group. It's just sort of a so like, because obviously there are people in Australia, because I had been there actually years before.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and I did a tour years ago from because an art student from Canberra,
Canberra.
Canberra,
Yeah.
never from that art school there. He asked me to come out, and so I did. This was years ago, and but we were and again, you find you realize these are fellow artists, and like-minded people, and so there's really no you feel like there's no difference in a weird
I
way
love that. I love that
yeah,
universal language,
and
right?
yet and yet when I was there, there were we were actually we were in Newcastle, and my friend said, "Okay, watch out for these guys," and they kind of to be tended to be kind of like I don't know, footballers or something. I don't know, but he kind of didn't like them or something. He kind of felt like they were part of a another
What?
club. You know what I mean?
He had like a
And
personal vendetta against these footballers.
yeah, he had some kind of beef, and and I kind of saw that and how that's everywhere. You have I don't know in when I was in high school we had stoners and we had the jocks.
Yeah.
You're not familiar with that necessarily, but in
Of
in the
course, yeah. And
States,
I watch heaps of American college movies, so of course.
okay. Yeah, so this is universal. You have groups that you kind of you identify with, but the nationality is irrelevant in a
For
sense.
sure.
So in this case, they're running around with their Australian flags all over
Yeah.
always putting, wearing a Australian flag sweater or whatever.
Yeah. As
Uh,
opposed to like an American one.
Well, yeah, and then people here do the same. They run around with their American flags and because they're patriotic and stuff.
Yeah, right. It is, yeah.
And
It
it's
is,
not
it is.
that we're not patriotic. We're as patriotic as anybody, or we most likely are. Maybe not, but we generally are. We could be.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's easy, particularly as an artist. It's easy to kind of not feel their energy as much as other artists. I'm just
I know what
being
you
on.
mean. No, no,
I'm just
no. But it makes sense because like a lot of the culture that we consume isn't from here, you know? And so we are attracted to other artists from, other cultural identities, and we don't
yeah.
necessarily stop and think about, that the fact that that does mean that there is this universal kind of
It's
language. Um,
universal, I think. The arts is a universal thing.
that's the
That's why,
beautiful thing about
yeah,
it. The fact that you and I
yeah,
can even
yeah,
have a conversation about this stuff.
yeah,
I mean, it comes from a place of love, you know?
yeah. I think so.
Creativity as well. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to ask you,
Well, music, yeah, right. Music is like that,
well, I wanted to ask you what
I
your kind
guess.
of music influences are because I hear a lot of in what you're playing, I hear a
Hmm.
lot of Beefheart, I hear a lot of
Yeah,
Suicide, I hear like,
I don't know. I'm not familiar with Suicide. I've heard of Captain Beefheart. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like abstract, but it still has a
yeah.
pulse to it as well.
Well, I don't have. I'll say what the music that I've been playing. I've got getting into the music lately, and I'm kind of being egged on, if you will, and so I keep doing it, and I'm having a great time doing it. But I've always dabbled with, or I have, all my life dabbled with music, but I've never, I never got into learning how to do it, and never took classes, and so I love how I'm sort of the term outsider.
Outside
You've
of
heard that?
music. Yeah.
Yeah, so I love that feeling of being an outsider artist in that realm. Because as a painter, I'm not an outsider artist, even though the paintings that I do tend to have an outsider artist quality to it, particularly the fact that even though I went to art school, I didn't even write anything. I just got by with just making art, and I just
I know exactly what you mean though. I play in a punk rock band here, and the music scene doesn't really sound like what we sound like, and so I consider myself. I have no formal education either, both
yeah, yeah.
in all my fields, and I've always considered myself an outsider and a very big admirer of that. It's cool that you champion that too, because it can be both, right? You can feel like, oh, like I'm not a part of anything, but then you realize that you are a part of a network of people who
Well,
just
yeah,
don't have a
yeah.
formal education, right?
I think there can be, and there is. And I think you bring to whatever you do your full experiences, your full, like for me, it's all the painting and just, whatever I've been doing. I bring that to the music, and
Yeah, yeah,
clearly to the performance, to the
for sure.
performance.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is like
And
all of the things are happening at once, you know. Some people paint while listening to music, and that will undoubtedly influence their work. But
yeah,
you're making music while you're painting, so suddenly
yeah,
everything's kind of crossing together and
yeah,
creating different. Yeah, I don't even know what the
yeah.
word would be. Like the medium is there's just so many mediums going on. They just dictate each other. Like it's fantastic.
Well, again, I also I think it's just a personal thing that I, kind of enjoy doing.
Mm.
It's not that, but I don't. I also don't want to. I also don't do it all the time. You know, so
Yeah.
it's sort of like so I'm not necessarily doing this every day, though I have in maybe at times. But I usually a lot of times with this music that I do, I kind of just do it once a week.
Yeah, right. Which is still a
Well,
lot
it
more
just
than most musicians.
well, oh, okay, I don't know.
Well, I mean,
But
most musicians like me.
okay. Um, so yeah, it's 'cause, so I also just I'm also interested in just painting, without doing the performing and but just
Yeah.
painting,
Well,
and
painting is traditionally a very relaxing activity for most people.
well, it can
It's
be.
it's
It's
not.
also very introverted usually.
You would
Very
get
introvert.
relaxed after the painting because of the cardio element, right? As well.
Yeah, yeah, right.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and I love the idea that you can express, the energy, um and then kind of be able to break. um I love the idea that, uh this energy force field that you put forth is sort of a period, it's a time, and in some ways a time constraint, and so once it's done, it's done.
Yeah.
And is it good, is it great? It's all dependent on your um inspiration at the moment, and just a lot of stuff at that moment. um I just like that. I like that. But also I kind of like that little added caveat. Oh, and he's on, this person's on the treadmill, or he's playing music. Also, just add an extra layer of confusion, and also kind of give the give me the excuse that if it's not so good, it's because I was on a
Uh,
treadmill. I was playing music.
which is a valid excuse, right? If
Yeah.
ever there was
Yeah.
one. It's like you're cooking.
Yeah.
You're making a
Yeah.
dish. Like
Yeah, so I need to have, I kind of like having that little out, if you will.
can you say you're on a treadmill and you're painting and you're not on a treadmill and you're painting? Can you achieve the same level of quality and technique on the treadmill?
Not really.
It's not
Not
possible, right? Like unless the treadmill's on
not
like a
well,
really
you got to go slow.
slow.
Yeah, now actually, so when I got involved with doing the treadmill, actually, because um I brought the treadmill into the studio like this, and it's because I was for the longest time I used to paint outdoors on location,
Yeah.
and they call it plein air painting. And I still do it, but I don't do it as much anymore. But you're out there, and the wind, and people walking by, and cars, traffic. There's a lot of energy. It's
Yeah.
all that energy. And so in a way, the treadmill, and somehow you're able to focus, and you get good at it. And so the treadmill kind of in a weird way was creating that effect of the outside energy inside the studio, because you're moving. And
Right, because it's not just about being outside, because people can go outside to paint trees, but they're usually sitting down and they're somewhere where they're
well, they
not going to
could
be
be.
bothered. But you want the actual like the primal energy from the street to flow directly into the canvas.
I mean, I've always, from the day I picked up a paintbrush and painted outdoors, if as a teenager and stuff, I've always enjoyed that.
Cool.
So I think I'm always going to tap into that energy for
Yeah.
myself.
And
And yeah,
in terms of the like the sonic component, going back to the music, is it premeditated or is it spur of the moment? And the reason I ask this is because I've chatted to a lot of classical musicians and jazz musicians as well on this show, and they can also construct compositions that sound quite random, but then in reality they're kind of, premeditated. I wondered what your style was.
Yeah, it's all spur of the moment. It's because
And yeah.
the way I have my setup at the moment, and constantly maybe I could be adding another element, another instrument, if you will, or device. I don't know how to use it in a
Hmm.
sense. I don't read the instruction manuals.
Yeah, and
Uh,
even then those manuals wouldn't teach you how to make a song, right?
no,
Like,
and I'm constantly aware of sort of my electric magnetic field, in terms of the energy, so it's and in many respects that's how I approach the painting, or I
hmm.
can if I'm connecting or hitting on all cylinders, then there's really a lot of a lot of similarity, there's a connection between them, all that stuff, everything that I'm doing.
Yeah. And your setup, is it so what is the current setup? It's a drum machine of
uh
sorts? Like what is
yeah,
the
I
actual
got it. Yeah, I got it. Let me see if I can show you. I got
Yeah.
there. Let's see. This is my drum machine here. I can't see it, can you? Drum machine is
Yeah, yeah,
here.
yeah.
I got a piano here. Any piano. This is happens to be a Yamaha. And
Okay.
then I got this. This is a looper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called a Boss RC 202.
Okay.
RC-202. It's they call it a looper, and so you patch in. I'm only able to patch in one. Well, I can patch in my mic. I can patch
Yeah.
in my and one other thing inside here, and then it can loop through sounds.
Yeah,
But
right. So
it's very complex, and I don't know how to use it. So I just go from muscle memory and
wow, so
sometimes
even the looper itself is being activated on that kind of like
oh,
spontaneous
yeah,
energy
yeah, yeah,
vibe. Wow,
yeah,
that's so cool. And
yeah.
you've got the fan as well. I don't know how long the fan's been
Yeah, well, that it gets hot here sometimes in
yeah,
the
and in terms of the set,
summertime.
because the setup's fascinating because you've got the are they clamps? Is it clamped
Yes,
to the
yeah,
wooden board?
yeah. These you know, just the little clamps. That's for the speakers, in
Right.
particular, so they don't fall. Because like if I'm on the
Yeah, you're
treadmill running,
moving like
and then I'm banging on the equipment a lot, so they vibrate, and so that these guys keep them from falling off.
I was wondering. I was like, why is it set up that way? I guess it makes sense.
Yeah,
Very practical approach.
yeah, yeah.
True. And you paint acrylic or oil?
Well, lately I've been doing a lot more acrylic, but
Yeah.
for years I've been using oil, and I still miss using oil, but I've also learning to enjoy the acrylic. And so and also I'm kind of maybe trying to mix them at the same time. I mean, not at the same moment, but
Yeah.
maybe you work you do acrylic and then you do oil on top of that. Generally the rule of thumb is you can't, they say you cannot do acrylic over the oil, is that's just the rule, but it's a rule, whatever, but anyway, the but it's perfectly fine to do oil over the acrylic. So
Yeah. Well, if you were doing oil, that would be a bit difficult on the treadmill, right?
no, I
Oil on
for
treadmill.
years, for a long time I did oil,
Wow.
did paintings with oil. I haven't really done a lot of treadmill paintings of late, and because I'm just kind of lazy,
Yeah, right. So you feel like it's
and
not a structured thing that you're gonna wake up and do this, every day or whatever. It's like if you
well,
feel
and
like it.
also, yeah, and also I think I've been getting so much into the music that it's just been nice to not do any painting and just play the music.
Is the music a new discovery?
Not Yes and no. The amount of time I've been putting into it is more of a discovery of sorts, but
Right.
I have dabbled into playing music for years. But again, it is strictly without any abilities, and
Yeah, 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 yeah.
but
Well,
I guess
with your own ability, right?
yeah,
Your own way of using it.
yeah, but like I can't. I have a hard time using the computer programs, the
Mm.
software, DAW,
Yeah, DAW.
DAWs.
Like I use Ableton,
Yeah,
but that yeah, you're not on
I
Ableton.
can't. For the life of me, that is a pain in the ass.
We'll try and get
And
you sponsored by Ableton. I know a few guys.
nah, it's not happening. I'm sorry.
I appreciate it.
In fact, on my Instagram, I posted a picture and it had DAW, and then I put the little red
So
cross over it.
you're anti workstation. That's
Yeah,
so
and I
good.
was like, "Fuck DAW."
That's
And
awesome.
people. I mean, a lot of people responded to that, and
Yeah,
it was mostly positive, but there was also like, "Oh man, why did you do that?" Oh,
well, everyone's using DAWs now, as opposed to like
yeah,
using four tracks and stuff like that. Very few
I
people are four
suppose.
tracking,
Yeah,
but
I just I couldn't. Um, I just don't want to. I hate the computer connecting the computer with my art making is a pain in the ass for me. And
yeah,
and then on top of it, when I did try doing it, um, it would always shut down the program. I'm in the
really.
middle of banging on my
Oh,
piano,
you mean if
and
you're
then
on the treadmill with like a laptop with the D? Okay, I see. No, that would be a fucking nightmare if you move near the
well,
cables. Like,
I mean, I hadn't. I'm not using a laptop. I'm just using a Mac, desktop Mac. But yeah, it's just a pain in the ass. And but on top of it, I found that I'm able to uh, hit so many buttons and electronically destabilize the software so that it shuts down.
yeah, you're probably accidentally hitting Control Alt Delete in a specific
I'm
combination.
accidentally
Alt
um,
F4.
blowing up the software so that it goes, tilts.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah. They really should fix that glitch when you put it on a treadmill and it doesn't work.
well, yeah, they should proof
They
it.
should. They should.
Let me bring me into their headquarters and see if I can get it to work so that or to get it to work so that I could use it correctly the way I use it. I would use it.
Sorry, in the time that we were talking, my
Oh,
computer just activated itself.
see?
Like isn't that weird?
Yeah, no, it's not
Like,
weird. Computers suck.
dude, it literally like logged me out.
They're, they're, they're the greatest. They're the greatest, but they're also a pain in the ass because of stuff like that. It's just like,
I'm also very curious about that painting that you've got on your left. What is that
oh,
of?
here,
Yeah,
this guy.
what? Yeah.
Oh well, that's the cat. I'm doing a painting.
Oh, so it's
The painting that the cat that's kind of in heat. I think the cat's in heat. We don't know, but it sounds like she's beginning to be in heat. Whatever. Yeah, it's oil sticks. I'm not really I haven't really put a lot of effort into it. I just kind of
it looks great from what I can see from the
yeah.
screen. It looks quite great.
Oh, let me. Oh, so it needs some more work, but yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, 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 that's cool, man.
But
What's
I'm trying to get away from actually representational work. I'm actually kind of interested in more of an abstract thing.
for sure,
Uh, but I've
especially if you're interested in energy.
exactly, and so and plus I'm getting, I've done representational work for so long, and it's refreshing to do the abstract stuff. But at the same time, that's a whole nother world. It's like, um, in a sense, but I find it also somewhat challenging, similar to making the music, in the sense of I know I could make some inroads with it.
Yeah.
So so that's fun. As an artist, it's fun to maybe enter into these new discoveries and
Yeah. It's the best times of your life, like when you
force
don't know what
fields,
you're
if you
doing.
don't know what you're doing, and like it's like a new chapter or whatever. They talk about it's always people wonder, well, what am I going to paint? And that is always a problem. What are you going to paint? What are you going to paint? And uh, what am I trying to say? What am I trying to say? It's like
Rather than
uh
just being, right? Rather than just
well, or
existing.
just hang in there and just do something.
Yeah, 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 for
Make a
sure.
move, make a move, make a move. Do something, make a move.
Well,
Say something, say something.
well, in a way, do you feel like the monologues that you also say when you're on the treadmill, that they are
Yeah,
trying to kind of awaken that specific kind of mentality of just do something?
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like get
yeah,
out there
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
create.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah, it's cool. We have a motivational well, he's like a motivational guy called Divorced Dad from Australia who's one of our he comes on the podcast a lot. He's also very
Okay.
very like that. You should definitely check him out. I checked and he
All
follows
right.
you. He's also very big here. But
All right.
I wanted to ask you about Christmas themed music.
Bring it back. Bring it. Bring back.
Yeah,
Of all the things I've asked anyone in the podcast, this is the most excited I've been because last night I
yeah,
was doing a shift at a clothing shop that I work for,
yeah.
and they're just playing Christmas music over and over and over to the point where it becomes quite evil. Not from
Yeah.
the corporate side of, oh, we want you to buy stuff, but from the other side where it's like monotonous, it's just lifeless. It's professional music. It's very, very well
Yeah.
done, but it has no soul. It's
Yeah.
soulless music. And I was thinking to myself literally last night, would you believe it? I was like, I wish that, because even Paul McCartney's Christmas one, which I would argue is a good version
Yeah.
of that, because it has a sense being a bit
Having a
weird.
Christmas, whatever.
Yeah, and it's like bleepy and
Da,
bloopy, and it's not
da,
commercial.
da, da, having a
Yeah,
I don't
and
even know what he's saying.
it doesn't, but it's off of a really good album too. And even if you find that song annoying, it's Paul McCartney. He's going to put heart
Yeah,
into
yeah.
everything he does. But I
Right.
was just folding these clothes and it starts to hurt after a while. You know, when you work in
Oh,
like these
yeah.
commercial places and you're just listening to these
Yeah,
capitalist
yeah,
songs.
okay,
And
yeah.
I thought to myself, what would a song that was made for Christmas, that was completely unconventional, that just is like so left field, what would it sound like? What would something that
Yeah.
couldn't be played here sound like? And then of all fucking things, I ended up chatting to you today, and your feed is full of these like
Yeah.
Christmas. I mean, I don't know how would you describe what you're doing? Like Christmas
That
themed.
was my Christmas album.
That's so good, man.
I'm gonna I don't have the energy, but the plan is to put it on like have it actually an album and put it on Spotify. But I got to get on it because time's
Yeah,
coming up.
yeah. If you need
And
someone to mix it, send it over this way. We'll mix it. I know a few guys.
yeah, yeah,
It's incredible. It really is just like exactly what I needed. It's like
yeah.
one of those like rare examples where I'm like, I'm so thankful for someone's like cathartic,
Yes. No, it
energetic
is
vision
definitely.
that can just
Yes.
challenge this pre-existing norm because I was ready to kind of just like, give up on Christmas music, but you've brought back the Christmas joy.
I brought the back to Christmas joy. I
You
just
really did.
regurgitated. I regurgitated everything that I kind of was stuck in my head with,
Yeah.
music, and it was slightly limited. It's not like I have much memory of it because I don't listen to much of it in the first place.
Yeah, of
I mean,
course.
obviously I've heard it for all my life.
It's not based off of like a traditional reappropriation of old music, right? It's just you saying whatever you want in a slightly
Pretty
Christmas
much, pretty
vibe.
much.
Yeah.
I mean, I had when I what I how I do these basically is I go for about an hour. I stream for an hour and I record it, and then I find the good bits. And so um so I did do Jingle Bells, but I don't even know the whole song in Jingle Bells.
It's like three words. What is there to know?
Right, and so I didn't even include that I didn't post that a little clip of Jingle
Oh,
Bells
right.
because it seemed so obvious, or it was too um it was I didn't break away from it in any way, one way or the other. It was just too straight. It was too, you know,
Yeah, I
uh
know what you mean.
uh It was just like
conventional.
verbatim. It was too much verbatim, what's already there.
And that's the issue with
Oh,
with Christmas music is that it is coming from a replicating a song that has already gotten
yeah.
money in the past, so
Well,
we're gonna
I
get
don't.
money too.
I suppose, and I can't stand when people make. Um, it's not that I can't stand it. It's just kind of boring. Is more the correct thing here to say. When artists replicate the same thing.
For sure.
I, I'm not interested in that.
No,
And
and it's not like that's not what artists are here for.
well,
Like
I hope not. I hope not.
copywriting and photocopying, like that is a thing that machines can do really well. Printing
Yeah.
lots of like vinyls and CDs.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a machine oriented task. It's not a human oriented task.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you can use your brain a little more interestingly by exploring some other aspects in the sense of going on a divergence of sorts and you
Yeah.
know
It also just occurred to
going
me
off the
that
deep end.
the deep end, for sure, the deep end is where we find a lot of the best things when we go off the
Can
deep end.
be. I mean, it's interesting.
I just realized you said you go on for an hour of walking, right?
Well, I have in the past. I but I don't do it always, and um so like I hurt my toe, I stubbed my toe, I don't know, probably busted it or something. Anyway, I haven't been on the treadmill in like over a month.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. That's I'm sorry to hear.
Well,
Because
I'm walking. I'm
yeah,
walking,
well
but it's
that's what I'm saying. Like they say that a lot of people get their best ideas when they go for a walk. I was just kind of putting two and two together, and I'm like, are you getting your best ideas and able to
yeah.
directly put them onto the canvas immediately when you are walking, right? Like
Yeah, I mean, there is
incredible.
there is that for sure. Um the energy, the moving the body, regardless if you're walking or running, but just somehow bouncing around, you really can, joggle the brain and get some oxygen in your head, so that you might, explore certain paths that,
Yeah.
and you tend to be a little more energetic.
For sure.
Uh,
And you're doing exercise all the time, which a lot of artists don't work out at all. They just kind of
yeah,
do their art. But because you get to do that, it just makes you overall healthier, right? Because even an hour a day, that's just like the bare minimum, right? For good mental health.
I suppose. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I, I, I kind of wish I were did more of it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I'm not, and there's a lazy part about me, and so like when I'm in a sense, so when I'm not performing, I'm not doing anything
Mm.
sometimes. I
Right,
can't, I can,
because it's all just so connected that when you don't have to do anything at all, what do you do
yeah,
to unwind? How do you relax?
just watch TV.
Yeah, right. What do you just sit down and watch TV? I thought,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Do
I
you-
mean, whatever, watch TV, sleep, watch TV, eat.
Yeah, I was just thinking because even like the eating side of things, like you don't eat what you make on the treadmill, right? Because you're a cook as well, right? Like
I mean, I can cook. I don't cook a lot, and no, I don't cook what I eat from the treadmill. No,
no, I don't know. Yeah, that would be quite wild, right? You wouldn't
I
get the
think so.
measurements correctly, and it would be a whole disaster.
Oh, that'd be all right. I mean, I've actually discovered some interesting things over the years from the experiment of cooking. And again, I don't because I've done that for so many years. I haven't and it's so messy, the cooking aspect.
It's wild. The one with
That
Eric Andre was insane when you were crushing the
oh,
ice.
okay.
That
So
was
I
wild.
I don't even remember that one. But the it's so messy. So I kind of avoid doing it here in my little space because then I have to clean it up, you know.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you're already making art, which is generally one of the messiest things
And
you can
that's
do.
messy too. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so it's um yeah, yeah, and then I'm kind of aware I've like sometimes the the pan catches on fire and stuff. And it's like,
Really?
I don't need that.
So say if the pan catches on fire, but you're in the middle of I'm gonna call
Yeah.
it a set.
Yes.
What would you do? Would you stop?
Well, you just extinguish it. Usually, we are able to stop the problem. I mean, I haven't caught. We didn't burn any buildings down or nothing.
That was my following question.
There was a time where that happened, and the people that were in charge of, I guess, the gallery were a little concerned.
Yeah, 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 especially a gallery, right? Like, fuck, man.
Yeah. So I kind of aware of that. So I'm kind of finding myself, I'm not, doing that kind of stuff as much anymore. And even in Australia recently, I mostly focused on just blending stuff.
Yeah,
And in that case, they had a sharp knife that I was using, and I promptly cut my finger, uh, just enough that I needed Band-Aid. Just no stitches, but a Band-Aid. And but it was, uh, so I, you realize, okay, you got to be careful for sure. But I've resolved to myself to just using like a butter knife, like a knife that doesn't is not so sharp.
for
Um,
sure. You're on a treadmill, like,
yeah, because I don't want to, like, just arbitrarily cut my finger off anymore. So
yeah, that's definitely not good. We need all of Mr. Let's Paint whole,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Got to
wanted to
live
ask
for a million years.
your Instagram reels, right? Like
Yeah,
stay with me on this one. The
yeah.
the reels themselves kind of look like a work of abstract composition in themselves.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you're putting these like GIFs as well or images
Yeah.
of you dancing on top of it. Is that also a painterly approach to the Instagram
I
thing?
suppose. I think there has to be that element for sure. That has to play into it.
Because even say like you have, I don't know, you're doing one and it's like a Christmas one and you're on the treadmill. There's some of
Yeah.
you dancing, okay, we're there. But then suddenly there's one of like the annoying orange, like little sticker, and that's just there.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
again, is that just stream of conscious? You're just like, okay, that looks good there, or
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
cool. I
Uh,
appreciate that. That's cool.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I put a little, sometimes I'll put a little more effort into that, but then if I go too overboard, uh, that's not necessary. And then it also just diminishes the what I already have,
Hmm.
so I it's a back and forth, with that.
Do you find
I
that
feel like I
people
could go further with it though at the same
you
time.
could go further. I don't know how much further, but you could
Yeah,
definitely go
I
further.
think I could go further. Yeah, I haven't, or I will sometimes. I don't know. Just,
Do you find that people who like, do you find that being the kind of artist and creative that you are now in 2024, is it easier now than it would have been back in, say, 2001 to kind of showcase your art and feel more
sure.
accepted in a way? Like, do critics who
Yeah.
back then maybe they didn't get it, do they get it now?
Um, I don't know because I don't think what I'm doing would have, and to the actually this still does what I do is still not really part of, particularly the presence that I put forth on Instagram is not really a something that you would find in an art museum, basically. There's
You're
there's
right.
moment
It's
there's moments.
even yeah, sorry, you
Yeah.
go.
So I think so there are moments where it could, but I don't think I've ever correctly presented it so that it could be in a gallery.
I get what you mean. I get
I'm
what you
not
mean.
sure how to ever make that be the case. I would love to, you know, show
Well,
my work at a museum and a gallery and all that, but it's just I'm not, it's not the right person for that.
but it makes sense because video installations are in galleries all over the world.
Right.
and
It's
mixed
true.
media projects are
There
in the
are.
gallery,
There
and
are.
there's pieces of art that don't exist and they're in galleries as well. So, there's all sorts of experiments. The idea
It's
that
true. True.
something that you're putting on Instagram doesn't have that same level of merit, and I think maybe
No,
just we're not ready for that. You know what I mean? Maybe.
I think the fact that I have a sort of a comedic angle to it
Right.
throws off sort of the seriousness of art. And if you look at art in the first place, art museums and in the history of art, uh, comedy is not humor is not does not work very well in art.
No.
It's
No.
not very they don't necessarily mix. It's almost like oil and water or something.
It's like if you
And
want to get a comedy angle into a piece, you have to bury it within the canvas somewhere, bury it
well,
within the context as well.
you
Like it
know,
can't be overtly humor, otherwise it's like, I don't know, like more performance art, right? But not even.
but that performance art is art. And
Exactly.
again, I'm just there's no real right answer here, and there's no right way to do it. And maybe next, I get off talking to you, I'm going to get an email from some museum to show my work.
Well, if
So
you're getting asked to come and perform, overseas, there's no reason why anywhere else would just not be able to put your artwork in some sort of a format where it can be watched.
it's true, and it does happen. And look, it does happen. I'm just saying, in general,
I see what
uh,
you mean.
it's not. When you think about museums and stuff, or even galleries, it's a more serious approach. That's all. But I
Yeah.
think there are examples. I
Yeah.
couldn't really name you any, but in some ways, I guess that you mentioned the Dadaist, and there are groups and groups or artists, that in the past that have been, kind of funny in a
One of
sense.
my favorite artists is Cy Twombly.
There's no sense to this. There's zero sense to that being worth 40 to 60 million dollars. I don't give a fuck who made it. I don't give a fuck where he's from. Fuck you, eat shit.
I'm not sure if
Yeah.
you've ever looked
Oh
into him.
yeah. Oh
Perfect
yeah.
example of the blending
Oh
of the
really?
two. Somebody
Okay.
who's, just as willing to, because it was all, it scribbled, for people who don't know, like
Yes.
scribbled
Oh
nature
yeah. No,
artworks.
I've been I saw some of his work.
He has that element where he's just as able to mix Greek mythology and and all sorts of lore and also do crude jokes, and scribbles at the same time. And
I was not aware of that. I just know about the scribbles.
yeah, but that's what the
Okay.
scribbles basically
Oh,
were, apparently, from what I've read on him.
okay.
And the idea that he can put these two things that are just like, light night and day into a canvas and put it in a museum, and nobody can really tell him otherwise, right? Like that's his piece. He's an artist
Yeah.
first and foremost,
Right.
and the tone of, what the pieces are is up to him because they already
Yeah.
respect him as an artist, right? Of
Well, yeah, yeah. Now, again, there's no right way to do this, being an artist. And so,
course.
I'm just carving out my little reality, and does it as does anyone's work? Does it ever make it to a museum? Well, that's, you know, it's possible, but it's also very, there's a lot of other artists, and there and or there's just a lot of other stuff. So it's not a there's no right way to do it. And
Yeah,
you can't just step yourself and get uh degrees and accolades. I guess you could, but there's also other routes to take. There's also the back door, and
for sure.
uh so um
Yeah, I think the
so there's
importance is
room
just
there's
to
room
just
for us
to
all.
just to continue to create and to not lose that motivation. And then if the end goal
Yeah.
is to end up in a gallery, that's cool. But I think for me as well, it's like as awesome as that would be to be in a gallery, and I've never been properly exhibited either. I also do fine art. The idea that just for me, it's sort of an element of recognition. It's not even money, you know, like self-recognition, like being aware of like I'm growing as a human being and I'm expressing myself visually. Like that's a huge deal. But I also like other people to see it, you know. Those are the two big
Yeah,
things for
yeah,
me.
sure.
It can be in any medium. If somebody calls me up from LA tomorrow and says, "Hey, do you want to exhibit in LA?" I'll lose my shit basically. But
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be the end goal either, right?
No, no, no. I mean, and for years I've I mean, you kind of you love the idea of it, and you like to think that you're working towards that idea, maybe, but I think you're also just trying to figure out how to survive, as a for income, how you're going to make money.
Yeah.
Um, so I have sometimes thought of myself as like a plumber in a sense when it comes to that, in terms of survivability, in terms of making objects for sale, kind of like a blue collar mentality.
I know exactly what you mean, but you're still making art, but it's
Yeah,
just with a
yeah,
different
because
state of
I've been
mind.
doing it all my life. I mean, I can't stop. I don't really have any other option, So
Yeah.
that's another angle. If you if you don't have any another option, nothing pulling you to some other, you got nowhere else to go, well then you just make art forever.
But even the intersection of blue collar work, right, and art, like that's always been that's the struggle, right, with making it too. Is like when you can make more of your art than you can make of that kind of stuff. Like the difference between being a graphic designer and
I
just like a
see.
straight
Right.
artist. Someone like Charles Bukowski, who I really
Right.
admire,
Yeah.
only like he was writing his whole life, but I think up until he was like 59, he wasn't able to quit the post office
Okay.
that he
Yeah.
worked in, and it was only
Yeah.
later on that he was able to be recognized as one of like the best
Right.
sort of poets of America.
Writing must never be boring. It must not bore the reader, the writer. It must not bore anybody. You have to have juice in each line, don't you see? You don't believe me, but I'm trying to tell you.
But
By the way, I read that book in while I was driving in Australia.
which
His
one?
his his book working at the post
Oh
office.
yeah, that's a great book. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a good read. You can read it literally in a day,
it
or maybe
is.
two.
His poetry, like his poetry collection books, where it's just his poetry, are incredible. And there's a lot of times like it's one of the few like authors where I can read it with like a mate next to me and we both just have like a moment of enlightenment after reading it going, holy
Oh yeah.
shit. Yeah. So big fan of him. But also big fan of you. And I want to say thank you
Oh
for chatting to me for an hour.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, right. It came out to be an hour. Wow, we just rattled on.
I wanted to just end with maybe asking you if there's anything that you want to say to people listening. This episode will come out probably in like 3 weeks or so.
All
Is there
right.
anything you want to sort of say to the people of Australia or the world? Is there a
Oh,
message that you'd like to impart on them?
uh, just keep going, keep doing your thing, and keep doing whatever kind of keep that creativity going. I think that's
Yeah.
just number one. Because for me, it's always been my solace and point of escape, and it's very healthy almost always. It's not. I mean, obviously, it's a great escape, and it's pretty healthy. It's like exercise. Drinking, or of course any, I guess, other drugs, but obviously that's a great pastime and a great escape too. But again, obviously we all know that is
You're right. There's no side effects.
problematic.
There's no side
Problematic.
effects to art.
Well, no, and I, that there is a caveat. There are risks with making art,
Oh yeah.
obviously, in the sense
Financial
of,
ones, right? As well. Like
well, financial, and also maybe chemicals, in the sense of breathing and the fumes.
yeah, for
And
sure.
in fact, and also there was a fame. I'm laughing, but there's this famous artist that a sculpture fell on him and he died. So
Really? Was it his own sculpture?
I think it was.
Well, if you're gonna get crushed by
So
a
I mean,
sculpture, it might as well be your own, right?
you
Like,
got to be careful at the same time. It's not
yeah.
a it's not, as with everything in life, there are risks and stuff. But like I get aches and pains, all my life. There's always some kind of body part that's like bothering me, or my mental state of mind is just
Yeah.
not there. And I start painting, and I forget about everything,
Mm.
and I feel better,
For
and I feel
sure.
better about myself.
For
There's
sure,
nothing.
man.
I feel like I got no pain anymore. Where's my pain? I
I,
mean,
I, at the start of the year, like this has been like a very rough year for me. And at the start of the year, we were painting. I'll show you actually if you want to see. This is the only uh, oil painting I've ever done. It was for the cover of our
right.
album that we put out this year with my band. And I would just go over to my keyboard player Sophie's house and we would just paint. And it literally felt like nothing else mattered. I
Yeah,
was zen. I would
yeah.
leave the
That's the
house
greatest.
zen, relaxed.
It's yeah. So I'm a big fan of that. I think I want to be, like that cheerleader, creativity cheerleader of sorts.
We definitely need one in the world.
And then on top of it, the fail, so but then the problem with that is that everyone wants to make a masterpiece.
That's what
And
happens
so
once you start to get too comfortable. You go, fuck, I need to get in my head again. And it's like, no,
yeah,
don't do that.
you want it like, you just want to make it more correct and more accurate. And it's just the nature of the beast. And so that's the other side of the mental anguish of that aspect. And so you need to find, like I use the phrase embrace failure, uh and that's just sort of a way to just let it, kind of let it go, but keep going.
That's a good way to put
Respond,
it.
react, keep going, respond, react, and not worry so much about, maybe, it's just an approach, but I think it's an important approach because I think it stops a lot of people stop with their creative process because they aren't, finding success in it.
Mm.
And I think that's a mistake for a lot of us. Now, obviously, maybe not all of us are meant to do this, and I could be willing to think that that's probably the case, but I don't want to think it's the case at the same time. I want to think that everyone has that ability.
Yeah, and I also want to, not even from an ideal world perspective, I would like to believe that we live in a world that can still encourage the human being to not quit art. I think
Yes.
that's my
Yeah, yeah,
my main prerogative, and it's something that, I'm 28 and I'm watching a lot of my friends stop making art around me,
yeah. Well, I
and
mean,
it's,
yeah, it happens, and again, if you don't, if you, it's a natural thing. If you're not finding the success, and you're not able to maybe, make income, which is, probably the main issue for a
yeah,
lot,
it is.
people. I mean, that's problematic. I mean, so how you resolve that is a problem. And so, but like for me, I spent a lot of time just painting landscapes, and found a way to sell them.
Mm.
But it's not easy. It's truly not easy. And I kind of, I look back on that period and I go, yeah, I mean, I kind of in some ways wish I wasn't doing that and I was doing this all the time, back then. I mean, I
Yeah.
was a little bit, but I was doing more of that back. It's just like
I think a lot of people also get to that point where, like, yeah, you have to go through all these different trials and tribulations to become
yeah,
who you want to be.
to who you are. Yeah. So
Yeah, who
this
you
all adds
are inside.
up.
Yeah.
And you just stay in the game. You stay in the game, and you'll find some form of success, if that's the word that we're looking for. I don't know. It's not really more contentment of sorts.
That's the right word because success still has links to, other
Yeah,
connotations, but
yeah. Well,
contentment,
money, which
money, and like
and
it's like
that's
if
problematic. It's
it
really
is,
a
and
problematic.
popularity as well is problematic too because it's really
Of course,
self-fulfillment shouldn't come from other
no,
people. It should
and
come from
and
yourself.
and I'll just say this, when I started doing the Let's Paint TV stuff, it wasn't trying, I wasn't, well, maybe I was trying to make a TV show and be successful as a TV show, but at the same time, it was also became an art project that I knew really wasn't any money. There was no money involved in it, in the
Mm.
sense of, um, uh, I wasn't making this to try to make money. I mean, maybe I was kind of hoping, but I wasn't really actively trying to make it successful as a TV show.
Yeah,
I so so there's something um interesting about making art that is free of, making, free of the end result of making, that is of making money, is what I'm
for
saying.
sure, for sure.
Because like I said, these landscapes, I spent a lot of time, painting stuff. Like, in a sense, this cat painting is represents that, in a sense, because I know that if I keep going with that painting and fine tune it, I could probably sell it.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, yeah, I could probably make some money from. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
tricky one. Like even when I started this podcast initially, I've only had it for 3 months now, but we've already done
yeah.
probably like 20 or 30
Well, I
interviews.
like that. I appreciate how I saw a little of the stuff, and then you're doing the animation and stuff, which is
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. Shout out to Gabby. She's awesome. Apricot Banana on Instagram. But
Nice.
but basically like it's one of those things as well where like yeah, I mean you do like I went into it initially with this like foot in both worlds basically like where I was like, oh well there's the commerce angle and there's the art angle and do I need to make content that will do this and that? But I really think that my passion with the podcast comes from like quite a genuine place where I can have
Yeah,
these discussions with it's not just with
yeah,
artists, it's with anyone that I admire.
yeah,
And I think that
yeah,
if
yeah,
if there ever is like a financial element to this, that it has to come organically. Like I can't.
yeah,
It's not. I'm not gonna. I've reached
yeah,
that point now, like 2 seasons in, where I'm not gonna change the dynamics of a long. I love like long talk show, like in the
yeah,
older days, like Dick Cavett and all that stuff. Like I'm into long form
right. Yeah,
expression
yeah,
and that kind of the abstract nature of not really knowing where the convo's going to. So
right, right.
yeah, I've definitely realized that it's weird with all the creative stuff, even though I'm in like financially the worst situation I've ever been in.
Uh,
All the creative stuff has stayed quite true to itself. Even my music that I initially started thinking, oh, we're going to follow a particular trajectory and we're going to have this much money by this point, now is just for fun,
huh.
which is
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
weird. Like it's not even giving up. It's like I've released a part of myself from that. Even though I'd love to
yeah.
do that stuff, it's not the
Well,
prime.
it still yeah, it still can happen, and that, but you're true to yourself, then there's a better chance, frankly. There could be,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I mean, people can tell
I've
when.
had, opportunities because of kind of, enjoying the process is really, and it's
Yeah. If you don't enjoy the process, then you're not going to be able to do it for too long.
yeah, you got to enjoy doing it. I've been doing this, performing the Let's Paint TV since 2001. So
Which is when I found that out today, I was like, my mind was blown. I was like, oh my
yeah,
God.
well,
Like,
and then I did some earlier other stuff, but it wasn't, painting Let's Paint TV. But um, yeah, so I enjoy doing it. I enjoyed, and I made money at it, barely, not enough. It's not my job, you know, in that sense. Or it's like a part-time job in a sense, I guess. So there is a little money, I guess, at times. You might go a year or two without any money at all, and just blah blah blah.
yeah, but
Um, but I just like doing it. I like doing it. And I like the opportunities that present itself because of it. Like, you'll
yeah.
find that you're talking to me, but then you're gonna talk to these other people, and that's a good thing.
It's also like it is
Yeah.
like I don't think in any other time in history would I be able to sit here in Melbourne, Australia, and just hit you up this
Right.
morning and then,
Yeah.
just do a whole
Well,
episode by
it worked
ourselves.
out. I was free. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll go ahead and do it.
Well, it was great. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. I appreciate
Yes,
you
yeah.
taking the time. And yeah, I hope to see you in Australia. If you ever come to Australia,
All right.
let me know.
Yeah. All
I'll,
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I ever come back again, but I've already been there twice, so maybe I'll be back again. I don't
I
know.
might even come to LA in late January as well. So I'll hit you up if that happens as
All
well.
right. All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you so
Okay, buddy.
much. I
Yeah, yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
it.
Take care, man. Take care.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
man. See you later.